everyone, this is Once Bitten with a Battle Report. So this is Game 5 of Grail Quest 2016. My beast herds facing off against some Infernal Dwarfs. This has been a good tournament so far. I don't remember off the top of my head what table I'm on exactly, but I'm doing well. I'm near the top. In this fifth game, it's a real weird scenario. Do you see the blue token in the middle? Basically, if you move up within 4 inches of that on turns 1 or 2, you can't move outside of 4 inches of that. You're stuck there until the beginning of turn 3. But while you're stuck there, you can't shoot or be shot at. You can't cast magic or have magic cast on you. You can't be charged. You're just kind of in a protected bubble. The beginning of turn 3, all units within 4 inches of it take D6 Strength 5 hits, and then they gain Frenzy and Hatred. So, really, and I think there's more to it than that. It's a really complicated scenario that just kind of assumes that you read it and play tested it a couple times before the tournament, which I had, thank goodness. So this tournament has a lot of kind of weird rules for it. The lists are allowed to have extra monsters. Please see the introductory video if you're confused about the lists. So my opponent has a really great looking army. Here on the right, that large model is representing a Aurochs, as I have one of my army as well. Then he has 5 Taurukh Anointed. Behind him is a Titan Mortar. There in the woods, he's got a big unit of Infernal Warriors with the Flaming Standard. He's got a Overlord as his general, and he's got a Prophet in there. Now, for their specific builds, please look in the description to the video. The Overlord is a concern because he's got a +2 strength weapon, and then if you're flammable, then it does D3 wounds. Also, the unit has hatred, or at least one turn can have hatred. So there's there's a lot of combos there. So if he gets one spell off, I think that's his attribute, is he can give hatred to a unit. So if they're in combat with something, not hatred. If they're in combat with something, they can make it flammable, and then they get rerolls to wound and the other benefits from what their characters have. But the D3 wounds is certainly a big concern. Anyway, in front is a Hobgoblin Chieftain on a wolf. Back behind it, at the very top of this picture, is a Vizier Battle Standard Bearer on a Hunstman Spider. Then he's got an Infernal Engine. Moving to the left, 20 Orc Slaves. Behind him are 20 Hobgoblins with bows. An Armoured Giant. Here's Bolt Thrower number 1, Bolt Thrower number 2, and 20 more Hobgoblins with bows. I actually deployed first because it seemed to me in this scenario there's a huge advantage to going first, because on turn 3 you can charge out of that bubble. You just can't charge anything your opponent has in the bubble. No, I take that back. No, once turn 3 starts, then everything's fair game. So it seems to me that it's a huge advantage to whoever goes first. So at my Centaur Chieftain top right, if I feel that he's threatened, I'm just going to come hide him behind the hill. And otherwise, I'm going to take him back behind my opponent's lines and just be a thorn in his side. I've got 10 Wild Horns. I'll be ambushing with 2 units, 20 Wild Horns, and with a Giant. Jabberwock is hiding behind the hill. I don't know why I'm really hiding him. He's got a Stone Thrower and 2 Bolt Throwers. His shooting isn't overwhelming. There's my BSB on the Aurochs. Got 2 Gortak, then my general on a Razor Tusk Chariot. My plan here is to put everything that you see here within 4 inches of that token. And the BSB, I'm just considering I might not put him there, just because I think it could get to the point. My big concern was if my opponent has enough chaff to chaff all my units up, so on turn 3 I don't have any good charges. So based on how he deployed, I may or may not have rushed in towards the center. But when I looked how he deployed, I'm really not worried about his chaff. So, yeah, I think I am going to rush the center, but I'm thinking I'm not going to take the BSB into it. I would love to get a charge off on him into that Taurukh Anointed or into the other Aurochs. I kind of need that. I think, whoever gets the Aurochs that gets the charge wins. So anyway, far left of this picture is Gortak number 3. Then the Bull Taurus model is a Razor Tusk, and I have 3 Razor Tusks right in a row, and behind them are Gargoyles. So I knew I'd get to go first. I went and I just jumped up on that token. So the bad news is I know that at the beginning of turn 3, all these units are going to take a D6 Strength 5 hits. And I'm just not that worried about them. It's not going to kill the Gortak, certainly, and they can get wounds back, so they should be okay. I think my general is really hard to wound. I think he'll be okay. And then I've got 3 chaff units that they could actually get killed by. But I'm thinking, on average, he should get 3 or 4, and Strength 5, Toughness 5s, he should get 1.5 or 2 wounds. So it leaves them at 1 wound each, which isn't ideal, but I just need them to be able to chaff should I need it. You see Gortak number 3, I'm taken to the left of that hill. 1, it just keeps them hidden, and 2, there wasn't enough. I didn't want all my stuff congested near that thing in the middle. Centaur Chieftain, I vanguarded up and then marched him up, and he's just going to throw a bolt thrower at his Aurochs. If I can get that thing, just down a few wounds, that can make a big difference later on. So Infernal Dwarfs, turn 1. So his Infernal Engine barrels ahead. He would have hit a Gortak, but of course he can't charge the Gortak, so he stopped 1 inch ahead. So that's just going to be a matchup. I think 1 Gortak against the Infernal Engine is a little bit dicey, but if I get a second Gortak in there, I think I can handle that thing pretty easily. Yeah. See, here's what makes it weird about the scenarios. He's rushing forward. I can't charge him with anything except my Aurochs BSB, and he has him chaffed up, which I'll show you in a minute. So I can't charge him, and he can't charge me. So we're just going to get really close to each other and just have this standoff. There's that. Yeah, that's not ideal. I needed to have something set up to handle that chaff. I should have seen that. And I think the mortar hit my BSB, only did 1 wound, but now if I charge or march, I'd have to take dangerous terrain. So we go to Beast Turds turn 2. I decided I just back my BSB up. I put the 10 Wild Horns on the hill. I would love for his Taurukh Anointed to charge those guys. And if he does, I don't know if I want to flee or let him hit him. Either way, I just need to get the charge off on him, and he still has that chieftain there. That now I have the gargoyles set up that they can help out with him, but he'll have that chieftain set up again to help redirect my Aurochs. So I'm not loving how I did that. Otherwise, my chieftain in the top kind of right of this picture charged his BSB on the Huntsman Spider, and my Jabberwock came around the hill. Look at just above his Aurochs, and I've got my Beast Giant came on the board, threatening stuff, and 2 units of Wild Horns popped up behind his lines. I am loving that. I'm just, those 2 units popping up behind us. He just didn't plan for it, and those things, both those units charging the rear of his Infernal Warriors. Even if I eventually lose that, they'll do so much damage, and I think I won't. I think I win that pretty easily. So anyway, there's that. And other than that, nothing of significance happens. So his Taurukh Anointed charged the Wild Horns on the hill. His Hobgoblin on the Wolf is redirecting my Aurochs. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to charge the hero with my Auroch BSB, and I'm hoping he fails his terror test. I'm thinking he's got to be like Leadership 7 and no reroll. So if he runs away, then I'm going to redirect, and I think it'd be somewhat tough for him to get out of line of sight after winning that combat on the hill. If I don't, if the Hobgoblin character doesn't fail his terror test, then I take the gargoyles over and redirect the Taurukh Anointed. Otherwise, I mean, you can see he kind of took his slaves and stepped them into the 4-inch bubble, so they're protected. They're just kind of trying to clog things up there. If you look at the far left, I took my Gortak number 3, put him right in front of his giant, and my thinking was, I don't need to charge you to kill you. We'll swing at the same time, and I've just got a real good chance of killing him or getting him down to almost nothing. Then my only fear is that giant is capable of holding monsters up forever, but I don't, I just have to. I get 1 round of combat, probably maybe 2 at the most. And I think I kill that thing. So there's the battle on the hill. There's that. I just parked right in front, so I said, charge me. So he said, okay. So he charged me. And we're both really confident, which is always kind of fun. And then, this just ticked me off so bad. So he shoots bolt throwers at my closest unit of wild horns, kills 6 of them. They fail their panic and run to the right as you're looking at this picture, which runs through my other unit, who fail their panic test and run from the nearest enemy unit, which is the mortar, and land right there. My units literally just crisscrossed each other, and now they're both fleeing and completely useless to me. I wasn't even mad. It was like, that's so funny. Like, darn it. I mean, I know that stuff like that can happen, and I guess his bolt throwers weren't shooting at something else, but yeah, darn it. Yeah, and I think the Titan shot at my Jabberwock and does 4 wounds to it. That I'm not real quick to put this guy into combat anyway, but he only has 1 wound left. Yeah, I just really scared about putting him into combat. And we go here. Yeah, unless I'm mistaken, he does 2 wounds to me, obviously. I think I do 5 wounds to him. I just, unload on him, but just can't quite kill him. So I'm happy enough with how that went. I could, if I'm wrong, maybe I did a few less to him. I don't think so. I think I have him down to 1 wound. All right, so we start turn 3. D6 strength 5 hits all the way around the board, and I rolled for myself, and it was just awful. I was rolling 5s and 6s. I blew up 2 Razor Tusks and put 2 wounds on the 3rd Razor Tusk. I mean, just obliterate him. 1 wound actually got through my general, which I don't know if technically you have to re-roll the roll to wound on him, but whatever. It got past his toughness, it got past his armor save and his regen save, and he takes a wound. And then, I don't know if the Gortak there in the middle took a wound, but the one on the right obviously took 2 wounds. So, not ideal, but for that disadvantage, I get to charge a bunch of stuff that couldn't have charged me. And I'm happy enough with how this turned out. So, a Razor Tusk and my general charged the slaves. I had to put the Razor Tusk in there because otherwise things wouldn't fit. 2 Gortak charged the Infernal Engine. It's not a sure thing for me. I was wrong with the 1 Gortak took 1 wound, the other one took 2. It's not a sure thing for me, but especially getting 2d3 strength 6 impact hits and then having 14 attacks, re-rolling to hit strength 6, and if I roll a 6 to Z3 wounds, I think I kill the thing. And then I overrun. And what I need to have happen is I need to overrun and get both of my units into his Infernal Warriors. If only one makes it, it allows him to pick off one at a time. If 2 of them get in there, one of them's going to be dead. He's going to have Hatred first round, and his general's there. He'll have his magic phase. He's going to put Flammable on one, and then he's going to kill one. The second one will probably survive, and then we'll be able to hold that unit up and be able to do some damage to it while I wait to bring some reinforcements. This unit failed to rally, ran through a bunch of enemy troops and impassable terrain. At the end of the day, has now lost 20 of their 25 models. or 15 of the 20 models, whatever it was. They suck. Darn it. There's all that. This is just... Oh, and then my gargoyles, my Aurochs. Okay, let's back up. So his Taurukh Anointed obliterate my wild horns on the hill, and then he had to choose: does he want to reform and face me, or pursue what models were left? And I think he pursued, trying to get over the hill, and he didn't make it. So my Aurochs BSB charged his character, and he did fail his terror test. So my Auroch charges those guys, and that frees up my gargoyles to charge these hobgoblins. And meanwhile, my Centaur Chieftain took a couple rounds to kill his BSB on the Huntsman Spider, and then he charges this Titan Mortar. And here's the Aurochs BSB. So I charged him. He fled, hoping that he would roll high enough to bounce through my Jabberwock and land safely on the other side. I think that was his best move. And then he just didn't roll very high, and my BSB caught him and then reformed. So, and I'm actually reformed in a pretty sweet way, because a lot of things to the left couldn't see me. He can't shoot me with his bolt throwers, but I can peek around that hill, so I threaten kind of a decent-sized section of the board here on the right. And over here, yeah, he does the thing where he does an automatic wound to me, and now I can't attack. So that's no good. And over here, yeah, the Gortak, both of them rolled a 6 against the Infernal Engine, and so they both healed a wound. So the one on the left is full wounds, one on the right only has 1 wound now. They both make this charge. Yeah, his Overlords, again, his Overlords can be able to make way. And with his magic phase, he's going to make at least one of these flammable. I just really think I'm going to lose one. And my everything on the left went well. My gargoyles beat the hobgoblins. They failed their steadfast and then ran them down. Um, my race test chariot died, but my general otherwise beat that unit of orc slaves, and they broke and he ran him down. The problem is he ran too far, and so he's not available to countercharge on my next turn into the flank of this unit. And in hindsight, I should have just let the orc slaves go and just reformed to make sure I could help out. And over here, the chieftain does his job, so the Titan Mortar is dead. And we go to Infernal Dwarfs turn 3. So, yeah, if you look on the top right, his Aurochs charges the Wild Horns, and because my giant's there, I positioned my giant such, I positioned the Wild Horns such that he had to charge him in the front, and so therefore could not overrun into my Centaur Chieftain. But then I put my giant in the way, so he can't fit, so he has to clip my guys, which changes his pursuit and is going to take him right into my Centaur Chieftain. I could not have screwed that up anymore. That was the perfect screw up. Just dumb. Let's see, Hobgoblins charge this unit. They run again. I lose another one to dangerous terrain. And in truth, I don't even know what this is. So then we go to combat. Finally, my Gortak can swing again. And I go to town and kill the giant. And the giant rolls the thing where he gets like 2d6 hits on me. And he rolls 12. And they just obliterate each other. Just absolutely mutual destruction. And then, yeah, because I'm a freaking 9th Age genius, the Aurochs wipes out my troops and overruns into my Centaur Chieftain. Now, somewhere along the way, this guy has taken 5 wounds. And I really have no idea how or where that happened. I mean, I shot at him. I know. I don't remember doing wounds to him, really. The Wild Horns could have done some things to him, but I doubt they did 5. He probably had to take dangerous terrain, and he may have taken some then. So between everything in the game, this guy's actually been kind of beat up a little bit. So he's sitting on 1 wound left. But the problem is his impact hits are going to kill my Centaur Chieftain. The battle over here went actually better than I thought it was going to go. The Gortak on the left just got obliterated, but I knew he would. And the one on the right only took... Well, he only has 2 wounds now. He started with 1. I think I took an extra wound, but I healed a wound or something like that. So we're going to fight next on my turn. He's going to move his general over. And now he won't have hatred. He won't have D3 wounds against me because this model's not flammable. So he'll still be fairly 4 attacks, high strength. So if he hits all 4 and wounds all 4, yes, he's going to kill my Gortak. Otherwise, I'm going to get to swing. I'm going to put all of his attacks into this general because if I can kill his general, I'm not really worried about this unit hurting my Gortak very much. They do have great weapons, but I don't know. I'm just not that too worried about it. Plus, I can thunderstomp them. So we go to Beast Herd's turn 4. I reposition my general so he can help out if my Gortak happens to survive long enough. I charge my giant into the rear of the Aurochs because he only has 1 wound left. And I'm thinking I might be throwing good money after bad. I mean, he's definitely going to kill my Centaur Chieftain, and now he can attack my Battle Standard Bearer. But my giant just needs to sneak through 1 wound, and a lot of the results on his chart do 1 automatic wound or enough hits that I should be able to get 1 wound through. Now, this guy has looted booze, so even though I ambushed him as a sober unit, he has the drunkard rule, but now he's drunk. So that means when he charges in, he's +1 strength. So he's strength 7. So if I do some automatic hits or something, I think I have a good chance of getting 1 wound on him. Gargoyles are positioning to charge the bolt throwers. And this is my last picture. Here's what happened. It was crazy. The Gortak, my opponent's general doesn't do any wounds on my Gortak. But again, he wasn't rerolling to hit. He didn't have D3. His strength was strength 6. I'm tough to 6. Anyway, no wounds. All my attacks as general, I obliterate him. Just wipe the floor with them. His guys attack me. And I don't know if they did any or not, whatever. And then I don't think they did because they may have done some, but I rolled enough sixes where I ended on 2 wounds and I started on 2 wounds. I thunderstomped, I rolled a 6, killed 6 guys. We got to the point where he was no longer steadfast. And I just won by a bunch. He had what, a banner, and that's it. And I had just a bunch of wounds, broke him, ran him down. The giant goes in. I lose my Centaur Chieftain, but he kills the Aurochs. And so we just looked at the board, and all my opponent has left on the table are he's got a unit of Hobgoblins to the left of this picture that are racing to my side of the board to try to get into my deployment zone so we can get some extra points that way. So we didn't want to end the game here, but we just said, well, let's just real quickly, let's just do our turns real quick. So, he says he moves. He shoots at me a couple times with his bolt throwers. I move to get some objective scenario points, and then we just ended it. So the last 2 turns were just kind of some real quick positioning. So it ended up being a 19-3 win for me, which I thought was crazy. I thought it was real dicey there when I just had the 1 Gortak left and my giant in the rear of his Aurochs. That could have gone either way. If my giant doesn't kill that thing kills my giant. If my Gortak, between the general and the other hit attacks, very well could have killed the. They could have killed my Gortak, and this is a completely different game. So I thought I got pretty lucky there at the end. But I don't know. It's kind of funny. I've been complaining about this scenario ever since I read about it several months ago, and I actually really had fun with it. What I did, I think, was really risky, and I think I probably wouldn't do that again. But because putting all your stuff up in that bubble, and not even the automatic D6 strength 5 hits, even though those turned out pretty bad for me, but it's just I was actually pretty easy to chaff up if you just had enough units to put in front of me that you didn't care that they were charged. Yeah, but it ended up being pretty fun to play. So that's it for the tournament. I ended up having technically 4 wins and a loss. Really, it was more like 3 wins, a draw, and a loss. But I ended up taking 3rd place, so I was happy enough with that performance. I think if it was battle points alone, I think I was in 4th place. But I had really high paint scores because I had some conversions in the army. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.